All right, guys, so we got to talk about Tim Walz, a.k.a. Tampon Tim, a.k.a. Timpon, a.k.a. Tim Sugar Walz, right? I think my favorite nickname for Tim Walz is Tim Sugar Walz, right? I think that's probably the most accurate description of Tim Walz, who also is not just a clear representation of a beta male, but also he's a liar, right? A pathological liar.
2 months ago, you and Kamala Harris barely knew each other. Now you're running together, vying for the top offices in the land. It's not possible that you agree on everything.
Yeah.
What have been some disagreements you've had since you became a team?
Well, she probably disagreed with, you said, Tim, you need to be a little more careful on how you say things, whatever it might be.
Whatever it might be, Walz has been criticized for embellishing or telling outright falsehoods about his military record and about his travels to Asia in the 1980s.
In your debate with J.D. Vance, you said, I'm a knucklehead at times. And I think you were referring to the time that you said that you were in Hong Kong during the Tiananmen Square unrest when you were not.
Yeah.
Is that kind of misrepresentation, isn't that more than just being a knucklehead?
I think folks know who I am, and I think they know the difference between someone expressing emotion, telling a story, getting a date wrong rather than a pathological liar like Donald Trump.
But I think it comes down to the question of whether you can be trusted to tell the truth.
Yeah, well, I can. I think I can. I will own up to being a knucklehead at times, but the folks closest to me know that I keep my word.
But yet he claims that Trump is actually the pathological liar, when Tim Walz has lied about his whole life, okay? The dude lied about being at protests in China. He lied about his DUI arrest. He lied about his military rank. He lied about taking weapons of war in war. He lied about how he had kids. I mean, this guy has lied about everything, okay? Everything. Clearly, this man has a problem with the truth, okay? He's allergic to the truth, okay? And he's been called out for that, okay? The latest is this 60 Minutes interview in which this journalist confronts him on his lies. And he says that, well, sometimes I'm a knucklehead, right? I misspeak. My grammar's bad, okay? And it's like, okay, well, if you misspeak that often, if you misspeak about everything, then maybe you should not be trusted to be vice president, because you're going to be sitting in the Situation Room. You're going to be in meetings with foreign adversaries, and you can't just misspeak, right? You can't misspeak when you are conducting business on behalf of the United States of America, right? Misspeaking can lead to very bad consequences, like, for example, war, right? So, again, this is something that I think is a big deal, okay? Regardless of whether or not Tim Walz is lying or he's misspeaking, which we know he's lying, right? He's just absolutely lying. But the whole, oh, well, I'm just misspeaking thing, that's not making it any better, okay? That's actually kind of making it worse, in my opinion, because everybody knows that you're lying, and you're trying to make excuses for why you're lying, and your excuse is not any better, right? And it's at the point now where Tim Walz has become a liability for the Kamala campaign, okay? Kamala Harris was so stupid, she was so dumb, that she decided to bring on somebody as VP that doesn't balance her out, that doesn't make up for her weaknesses, which is the fact that, again, she is very weak when it comes to interviews, right? So she needs a bulldog. She needed a strong person that could go out and to take on the media and to do what she can't do. No. She picked somebody that was exactly like her, right? Just as weak as she is, okay? Which is proving to be a potentially fatal choice for her campaign, because they can't even march him out there to do adversarial interviews on networks like Fox News without him getting absolutely humiliated, which is what happened to him when he tried to peddle his lies in an interview with Shannon Bream, who is a real journalist, okay? And when you try to peddle lies against a real journalist, it just didn't work out too well for Tim Walz, okay? But with that being said, that doesn't stop Democrats from making excuses for Tim Walz's lies. And the main excuse is that, well, Trump lies more, right? Trump is a liar, so therefore we should not pay attention to Tim Walz's lies. And Scott Jennings is going to snap on this CNN panel that is crying "but Trump" in response to Tim Walz being called out for being a liar and then trying to deflect the conversation towards Trump. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Why are we letting Walz off the hook here? I mean,
I just played the bite. I mean,
but like this idea. No, I'm just. He said occasionally I'll be a knucklehead. I mean, knucklehead is a euphemism for a damn liar. It's not just China. Military record, the fertility treatments, which he uses as a political cudgel against his opponents on IVF, which they lie about all the time. He talks about things in the campaign of a policy nature that are absolutely not true.
Laws in his own state?
We just met this guy
Like
8
what?
weeks ago, and all we know is that he frequently fabricates his own personal narrative to make political points.
So can I say this? Here's the point. The point you made earlier about the fact that Donald Trump withdrew from the 60 Minutes debate. We can hold Tim Walz accountable. We can talk about discrepancies. We can talk about mendacity. The point you made about the quality and pedigree of a particular misstatement, the kind of quote knucklehead, and we can take it to mean what Scott says, is qualitatively different than a person who is deliberately deploying lies to create false narratives that hurt other people, that have a destructive impact upon the nation, and that he refuses to be held accountable for.
Wow, you hear this? You hear this? It's D for different, right? Which means that, well, Tim Walz is a Democrat, so his lies are different. They're different types of lies that, hey, it's not comparable to Trump's lies, right? This is the argument that Michael Dyson is making, who, by the way, is also a liar. He lied about him trying to cheat on his wife and by flirting with Nancy Mace after calling her racist on national television, right? So again, you have a liar defending another liar, claiming that Trump is a liar and his lies are worse than their lies, right? That's what's going on here, okay? But the reality is that it's not just that Tim Walz has lied about his whole life, okay? He's also lying about policy. Again, this is what he was called out on in the Fox News interview. For example, him lying about Trump saying that he would sign a national abortion ban, lying about Project 2025 being Trump's plan, lying about Amber Thurman and how she died, lying about Republicans wanting to ban IVF and all fertility treatments, lying about the abortion law in his own state. I mean, this dude just lies about everything, okay? He lies about things that are about policy and not just about his life. So again, it's totally relevant to the current political conversation, because when you're lying about policy, okay, you're lying about your record, you're lying about your life. How can anybody trust you on anything, right? And how can you point the finger at somebody else and talk about them being a pathological liar when you quite literally are a pathological liar yourself? But again, Democrats, though, they say, well, it's D for different, right? It's D for different, AKA, well, he's a Democrat, so it's different. We can't hold him to any standards, because Democrats, there are no standards for Democrats.
Donald Trump, the fact that January 6th was a pleasant, quiet tour around
that
the
too,
Capitol.
but the refusal to acknowledge the truth right before him, not to be held to account, going on Fox News as opposed to CBS's 60 Minutes, because he doesn't want to be held accountable, because he refuses in a kind of neo-fascist gesture to be held accountable for anything that he says.
Again, this is so silly. The reason why that Trump is not going on 60 Minutes is because 60 Minutes basically tried to tell him that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation, right? This is what they're saying. When Trump was pointing out the Hunter Biden laptop story, Leslie Stahl took it upon herself to basically lie and to try to say that, oh, well, it's unverified. It could have came from Russia, blah, 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 blah. It's Russian disinformation, when it wasn't. It wasn't. So Trump demanded an apology, and they haven't apologized for getting that wrong, okay, as so-called journalists, and therefore he's not doing an interview. But Trump has done plenty of interviews on adversarial networks, unlike Kamala Harris, right? So again, this idea that, well, Trump is avoiding the media because he's scared, and it's like, well, this is the same guy that did a town hall with CNN in which they basically tried to fact check and debate him during the whole town hall, right? The town hall was for the people to ask Trump questions, and CNN decided to turn it into a debate, right? Trump has done basically every interview with every one of these liberal media outlets, maybe except MSNBC, right? But MSNBC is not a news outlet, okay? So I don't think he's required to do one there. But to try to pretend as if Trump is scared or that he's running away when he's done way more interviews than Kamala Harris is just silly talk.
And people sit here and defend him.
You've known Tim Walz
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a pattern for him. He's been asked about it many times. These answers keep shifting, but not quite landing as I made a mistake and I'm sorry.
Well, as far as I know, the ones he's done is that he said he had been to China during Tiananmen Square and he wasn't. And what are the other ones?
His military, numerous issues with his military.
The military record is just, he once said that
he said he has
carried
a gun
weapons of war,
which was not the case,
in
and his
nature theater of war.
Yeah.
Okay.
But are there any lies that you all are
hold on,
disturbed that Donald Trump?
Whereas Trump is just lying every day he has a speech. The New York Times did a analysis of his speech and of Kamala's speech, and he told 86 lies in 63 minutes. I mean, that's not Tim Walz.
I'm just curious if Madison and Scott are disturbed by any lies that Donald Trump is telling. You've done an analysis of Walz. Are there any lies that Donald Trump tells that you are disturbed by?
I don't want any politician to lie ever. I wish they would all tell the truth all the time.
That was a Kamala Harris evasion. What is a lie that Donald Trump
First of all, I don't answer to you, and I don't answer to you. That's number one. Number two, it is my sincere. Well, I don't answer to these two guys. It's my sincerest hope that all politicians do the best job they can.
So you still haven't answered the question.
And that's what the American people deserve. And I think when you
what lies does Kamala Harris tell that you're mad about? Can you give me a list? Have you brought it? Is it in your jacket?
Sure. You want me to say some things that Kamala Harris has sort of shifted her position on health care?
No, not shifted. Why?
Lies.
She hasn't lied. She's
never lied.
Now's your turn. Is there any Donald Trump lie? How about you like the blood of immigrants? Is there some Donald Trump lie? How about January 6th was just a tour? I didn't have any.
The blood of immigrants was a lie. Really? Again, he's making things up. So here's the thing. Trump lies so much according to them that the first lie this guy comes up with is Trump talking about the blood of immigrants, in which he was talking about the blood of illegal immigrants that are criminals, okay, that have been released from prisons that are coming into this country, right? That is what he's talking about. In fact, that's not really a matter of whether or not Trump was telling a lie or the truth. That really was a matter of opinion more so than anything. But furthermore, the people who actually lied about that are the mainstream liberal media, because Trump was talking about illegal immigration. He was talking about criminals, actual criminals coming into the country. So again, they have nothing. And of course, when they have nothing, what do? They go to January 6th.
To do January 6th. How about Stormy Daniels? Do you care about that lie? Do you care about the lie that global warming is a Chinese hoax? That's a lie. He knows it's a lie. Everybody knows it's a lie.
But I must say,
I'm just curious, will you answer the question, is there one Donald Trump lie that crosses the line for you?
I do not agree with most of what Donald Trump has said about January the 6th. From the day it happened to this moment right now, and every day I have been on this network, I could not be more clear about what I think happened on January the 6th, what he did and what he has said.
Did he lose the election?
He absolutely lost the election. And now we've had 3.5 years of absolute terrible. And that's exactly what happened.
Right,
I guess it was me asking the question. I'm glad he answered.
Everyone stick around for us.
I thought we were having a conversation
coming up.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? You know, Scott Jennings, it's tough because when you're a Republican, they make you do the tap dance, right? When they make you talk about January 6th, they make you talk about the election, right? And, you know, Scott Jennings, he got to save his job, right? On CNN, okay? So he got to make sure he says what they want you to say in order for him to continue to be on these panels, right? But I really don't think he should have said anything about January 6th because, ultimately at the end of the day, Democrats can talk about political violence all they want, but a vast majority of the political violence in this country comes from them. And when you talk about Tim Walz's lies when it comes to abortion and the Democrats and their lies when it comes to abortion, we have seen attempted assassinations because of that, right? That's what happened to a conservative Supreme Court justice. There was an attempted assassination on the guy because of the lies of the Democrat Party, the lies that, abortion has been banned across the country because Roe v. Wade was overturned. And we had riots in the streets because of it, right? So again, Democrats and their lies cause violence and destruction across the country. right? For years, like, for example, also police brutality, right? The lie that police are out here indiscriminately killing black men in the streets just because they're black, right? Racist white police officers. This was the lie that was told throughout all of 2020 after George Floyd, and that caused untold amounts of death and destruction in this country. But according to them, it's different, right? Trump's lies are much worse, right? They're much worse. Even though, again, we've seen the consequences of the Democrats and their lives, again, lead to attempted assassinations, right? Not just against Supreme Court justice, but also against the president himself, right? We've seen so much chaos and destruction as a direct result of the lies of the Democrat Party. I really can't say that's the case for the other side of the aisle, right? Because, again, listen to these people struggle to articulate exactly, well, what did Trump lie about, right? What exactly is he lied about? So, again, I find it to be fascinating how these people seem to be so concerned about Trump's lies, right? But when it comes to Tim Walz, oh, no, we should sweep it under the rug, right? Don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. Not that big of a deal, okay? It's just funny how that works. Again, Democrats are not held to any standard simply because, well, Trump bad, Trump evil. Therefore, Democrats should be held to no standards at all. And again, that's part of the reason why they are losing. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.